Today I fucked up by not knowing Reddit. So the past few days I've been seeing a ton of really awful comments on Reddit. Every thread was seemingly full of massive edgelords and racists. People spewing nothing but hatred and low-effort trolling were all over the place, even in my familiar subs. It was to the point where I was starting to question myself. Am I just too old for Reddit now? Has humanity really gone downhill this much? I was even considering uninstalling it from my phone. Fast forward to now, I just realized that a few days ago I had set my app to sort by controversial to check out a juicy thread, but I didn't know it set it for everything going forward. Jesus, there are so many people here who are just trash, the literal dregs of society. Y'all know who you are, and you need therapy. Too long did not read. I'm an idiot who accidentally sorted by controversial and almost lost faith in humanity. BRB, I gotta see this. Edit. I'm back after 3 minutes. That was a terrible experience. Edit 2. I feel like some of you think this thread is a challenge. It's not. That other asshole had me thinking I did the same thing lol. Y'all know who you are. No, they don't. Reminder to sort this thread by controversial. The only thing Hillary got wrong about the basket of deplorables is that there are way more than she thought. That's pretty much describes all of our conservative. Carrot clicks best dark soul sounds. HUMANITYRESTORED. GIF Giphy J20KHWQ6SL0CGIE vers. Bahahaha. You sorta set Reddit to autotroll you. But don't give up. Most people on here are fairly decent. Today I fucked up by gambling on a 50-50 and losing. Obligatory. This happened yesterday. I was sitting in a Zoom meeting and hadn't eaten anything all day. I felt my stomach rumbling and felt the need to fart. However, I also felt something solid moving as I was spreading my cheeks to silently fart in a meeting that I was actively participating in. I quickly sucked in the fart as soon as I felt that solid thing move. I held it in and paused for a minute, weighing the pros and cons of letting this shart rip. I haven't eaten anything all day, so it couldn't possibly be shit. It's probably just a really dense fart. I muted myself on the Zoom call just in case I was about to unleash a sonic boom. I grunted quietly but forcefully and sharted. Too long did not read. 50-50, DA shart and lost during Zoom meeting. So for how long did you have to participate in the meeting after your unfortunate event? Better to shit out a fart than to fart out a shit. Shit happens. Nice story, thanks for sharing. Today I realized more people than I would normally think shit their pants. There I sat, broken-hearted, tried to shit, but only farted. The next time, I took a chance, I tried to fart, and shit my pants. It can take 2 or 3 days for some foods to move all the way through the digestive system. So even if you haven't eaten that day, never trust a fart. As I was spreading my cheeks to silently fart. 10 out of 10 on form, I quickly sucked in the fart. 10 out of 10 on an original move that I can't do. I muted myself on the Zoom call. 10 out of 10 for stealth and saving face. I grunted quietly but forcefully sharted. 10 out of 10 on bravery. The shithouse was only a few steps away. A normal person would say I need a bathroom break and step away, but not this person. This person chose to shit their pants in their own home, steps away from a toilet. Who does that? You do that. Today I fucked up by letting my parents know I'm going to therapy next week. 26M. I'm a teacher and work has gotten really hard lately with the virus and I've just had a tough go mentally for the past few years. Well, I was talking to my parents on the phone today. We were setting up a time to go pick up a couch I bought, and the only day I have time to do it is when I have a dentist appointment and my first therapy appointment. My dad, not knowing what the appointments were for, asked, "Are you finally going to therapy?" I told him that I was. Well, apparently he was joking. My mom asked if I'm serious and I told her I was. She asks why and I sort of lie and tell her that I'm going because works be stressful and my fiancé is making me, not that I've had thought of suicide. She then goes on this rant about how my generation is the mental illness, health generation and that it's not her or my father's fault that I need to go to therapy and that they were good parents and this, that, and the other. I just played it off and acted like it wasn't a big deal. What I didn't tell her is the reason why I'm going is because any time I get stressed I can't help the thoughts of ending it all from entering my mind. This is why I never talked to them about my feelings growing up. Too long did not read. Told my parents I'm going to therapy next week and they shamed me about it and told me it's not their fault I'm messed up in the head. Parents have their own hang-ups, and a lot of people equate therapy with being messed up by their parents. You have bigger issues right now than your parents' feelings being hurt. You've got to put all your energy into you right now. Therapy is a good start. My therapist is a wall of music gear that I climb into that makes me want to keep living. A lot of people get these thoughts. You also can find a lot of support about it. It's not uncommon to feel this way, especially when things are falling apart all around us. I hope you start feeling better, and I hope you don't let the parents thing get to you. Everyone is dealing with their own mess. Your parents are just processing what you said. Take care of yourself first. Don't sweat that stuff. Sorry to say this, but your parents sound like pricks. It sounds like your parents are the reason you're going to therapy. Man shrugging. Them immediately jumping to the conclusion that your therapist will blame them for things and then being worried about that specifically just means that they are guilty about how they treated you some of the time as parents. Screw them. Go to therapy. It helps, and if you think it is worthwhile for you, you shouldn't care what anyone else says. Wow, your parents are definitely the reason you're going to therapy. Sorry man, and I hope it works. Don't be afraid to not connect with the first therapist you try. It doesn't mean the therapist is bad or that there's anything wrong with you. Therapy is like dating. You need to click with your partner in a way that's difficult to define. Obviously don't quit therapy as a whole, but don't be afraid to tell yourself and your therapist, "This isn't working for me, I'm going to try someone else." A professional therapist will understand and should help you find someone else. Obvious caveat adding, because otherwise someone will call me on it. Also don't use this as an excuse to not listen to anything you don't want to hear. Sounds to me like not only are your parents a reason you're going to therapy, they know damn well they're a reason you're going to therapy since they jumped right to that. Their denial and cognitive dissonance prevents them from seeing their own practically straight-up admission they were bad parents. You didn't fuck up. Your parents fucked up. There's absolutely nothing wrong with needing a mental checkup, or a full overhaul. I'm glad you're getting the help you need. Yeah, I've seen parents make their child's problem about themselves. It's unfortunate that they immediately think of themselves and what that must mean about them rather than subjectively just talk about the person it's about. You're an adult with a stressful job during a stressful time in the world. Like, come on mom and dad, lol. Try not to take it to heart. I am sure they love and care for you. Today I fucked up by realizing I've abandoned life for nearly 10 years. It's complex, too complex to try to break down in a single post at 1:30 a.m. My aunt passed away at 75. Everyone says this, she was the kindest woman I've ever known. I hear a lot, a different version of you exists for everyone you know. That saying may be true for most but not my aunt. She was universally loved by all she met and never complained. She'd prefer you didn't as well. 2005 she had a massive life-changing stroke. She would endure 6 more large strokes and many smaller ones until the fall of 2021. I left my hometown, literally a village, in 2012. I was bitter, about everything. My mother was 47. My aunt was 66. Her husband was 72. I have a cousin. She and her husband were around 43–45. They have 2 sons and a daughter aged 10–16. We were all very close for a long time. I had decided for myself we had too much domestic unrest and that we were far too interested in appeasing one family member while the rest of us suffer. This was an immature delusion deeply rooted in childhood and early teenage trauma. I leave for work. I sleep in my car until I can afford an apartment. I meld myself with my new career without I cease to exist. It's all that I care about. This goes on for 8.5 years. Fast forward to present day. Due to my previous career, which by this time I have left, I never went home. I was solely focused on my job. I worked insane hours. I believed this would redeem my past lazy and irresponsible self. What would be evident to everyone else was shocking to me. Everyone was old. The kids were now 26, not 16. 2 of them have kids. I missed it all. Purposefully. I lost so much more than I foolishly thought I had gained, and I never even realized it. Graduations, births, holidays. Instead of the gradual ease of time, I was met with a jolt of reality and many hard-to-swallow pills. My aunt was revered and respected by all she met. She never met a person that wasn't special to her. No. Wasn't in her vocabulary when it came to getting necessary tasks done. Relearning to walk, drive, cook, everything. Some of these things being taken away to be relearned again. She never complained. She'd smile and laugh and push on. I was bitter and giving the 9-year silent treatment out of stubborn pettiness. As I walked to the gravesite in the family cemetery, I passed many names that weren't there when I left. I was 27 when I left. As far as my pea-brain was concerned, time stopped. I don't look much older. I don't physically feel any different. Time moved forward. Family eras ended, new ones began. I hugged my youngest cousin as she wept at the viewing. "I've missed you," she whispered. "I'm the prodigal asshole. I left for selfish reasons." My cousin's boys, now 22 and 26, were thrilled for me to be back. The eldest son is fixing up an old family home. I asked to see it if he didn't mind. The first thing he mentioned was, "Do you still play RuneScape?" I was not expecting that question. I said no. He then reminded me that I created an account for them 12 years ago. He and his brother still log in and play it. I let time and family slip through my fingers. I wasn't there for the bad or the good times. I was absent for the milestones. I was too busy serving my anger and my ego. I had convinced myself I was doing what was suitable for me. What I was doing was taking the path of least resistance, disregarding the existence of others so I wouldn't be bothered with what I decided was less than worthy of my time. I have already built this legacy. Now, I must tear it down and create a new one. She never complained and would prefer if you didn't either. If you read this, thank you. If you can relate, there's time to repair. Sometimes, as I am learning now, being humbled by pure circumstances alone is an unfortunate cure to the ailment of self-imposed misery. Misery I projected out and perceived it as being directed at me. Like asshole echolocation. To be a little more clear. No one approached me and said, "You know." It was the open happiness the kids had for me being with them, being invited back into their homes without judgment or questioning. Too long did not read. Out of pettiness, I gave the silent treatment to my entire family, returned home for a funeral, and got slapped across the face with reality and the hard truth. I am an asshole. Dang, I kind of want to know the petty reason you got mad at the family in the first place. I'm sorry you're struggling with that. My dad gave his own father the silent treatment for 30 years and his dad died a few years ago, and I know deep down he kind of regrets not making up, but he would never admit it. Hey, but you went back. Plenty of people never do, and never have that epiphany, so be grateful you did. And don't be so hard on yourself. It's easy to miss the bigger picture when you're focused on the day-to-day. I let certain things in life fall by the wayside when I worked a lot, and it took the pandemic to shake me out of that mindset. Take time now to get reacquainted. You didn't fuck up. You went on your own journey. You learned more about yourself than you ever would have, had you remained. You grew and are stronger now. You are just realizing now what is really important to you in your life. You can't go back in time 10 years, but you can reconnect now. And that's the true treasure. Some people never go back until it's too late. Cherish what you know you have now. You may never have realized it if you had never left. And your absence allowed your family to realize how much they missed you too. You are okay. Just stay in the present moment and make the best of each day. Hey, at least they're happy to have you back and you've made a career. 10+ years of alcoholism have messed up my life in ways your career centrism could never have. I know you feel bad for leaving. But I wonder if you'd be really sad, had you stayed. Thanks for your vent, it resonates with me very much, but in different ways. Escaping physically, or mentally. I am sobbing uncontrollably after reading that. I did the same thing, but over drugs. Started getting high and drunk, alone at home, instead of going to birthdays, Christmases, etc. I lost 8, almost 9 years because of it, and there isn't a single thing I wouldn't do to be able to go back and talk some sense into myself. Been sober just over 2 years, and I've returned, back to myself, and into the loving embrace of my extended and immediate family. I've got a little cousin who looks up to me like I'm one of his sisters, and I lost that when I chose to abuse several substances instead of trying to enjoy what life gave me. Dang, I'm sorry for you. This doesn't seem like a fuck up to me. It seems like you really needed to get out on your own so you could grow as a person.